You like my t-shirt?
Yeah, I don't think I've seen it.
You haven't seen it. We bought it
It's
at Nike.
Yeah.
Wild thing. Because I make your heart sing. What's something you admire? That's my mangosteens. They just fell all over the kitchen floor. I'm gonna have to clean that up later. Huh?
Is it failure?
Is it a failure? No, they just got spilled all over the floor. You taught me that.
Mm-hmm.
What's something you admire about Americans and something that drives you crazy?
I think it's gonna be your topic because I don't know much about Americans.
We've been living with American citizens for the past 5 years.
What drives me crazy? Small talks.
See, she doesn't know much about Americans. Well, there you go.
Your small talks did drive me crazy.
Just about any American does that, actually. Like most people do. Not like
they are not my husbands, actually.
This is how we meet people.
Okay.
Whatever, man. Small talks are fun. I mean, seriously, like it's a way to establish a quick connection. It's a way to kind of feel good in the moment from talking, interacting with another person whom you don't know, and potentially get familiar with that person over time. That's how you get a buddy. That's how you get an acquaintance. And, you know, then you can say, "I know a guy at a gas station." But what's something I admire about Americans? Something that drives me crazy. What I admire about Americans, I mean, I wasn't born in the U.S., but and I'm Russian initially, but I'm also American because I've lived in the country for so long, deeply familiar with the culture, with just the vibe and the way the people are. And what admires me about Americans is, what's the word I'm looking for? I'll just try to describe it. I can't really think of any good word right now because I'm sick as a duck. Actually, I got sick in Hong Kong and not at the top of my game right now. But what I admire is the ability to just kind of boldly go to where no man has gone before. So, like for example, this is very much in the American culture. If you're tired of living in a place, you just kind of pack up and move. Like, okay, kids, we're moving to a different state, and get a U-Haul truck and go to a different state. I mean, yeah, it's a lot more difficult now because the prices went up a lot, but even as recent as 20 years ago, and I say this as a 40-year-old, this was done on a regular basis.
Can I?
Sure, yeah, of course.
I don't know how to say it in English, actually. In Russian, we call it предпринимательская хватка.
Entrepreneurship.
Entrepreneurship.
Right there.
Yeah.
That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, this thing is like, this admires me.
Yep. It's entrepreneurship. And aside from that, and this kind of feeds into each other, is this business-like mentality where, entrepreneurship, right? Like the ability to enterprise, the ability to sell just about anything and promote yourself and promote whatever product you have and just kind of hustle. The ability to hustle. Americans are really good at that in general.
We have an American, let's say, friend.
Mm-hmm.
She
Lauren. Oh my God, yeah.
She's from Colorado.
Yeah.
And she moved to Vietnam with her 3 dogs. And
yep.
And she rented a really beautiful place with bungalows and
like a guest house.
Like guest houses, and she runs it right now.
Yeah. She came over to Vietnam from Colorado with dogs, with 3 freaking dogs. She brought them over. Like, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, that's a very American thing to do. Shout out to you, Lauren. I don't know if you'll ever watch this, but for sure, deep respect.
Yes.
And that is the one thing I admire about Americans, for sure.
This is actually the first thing that pops up in my mind when we speak about
It's the
America.
biggest thing for me. You
Yeah,
know, the
not small
bravery.
talks, of course. It's just
I like
to-
small talks.
I mean, it's not the first thing that pops up in my
You know,
mind.
Small talks is part of entrepreneurship, actually. You know, this is kind of like also just aside from, you know, making a conversation that kind of makes everybody feel good. This is often a good tool for probing if this is the
agree.
person that you want to interact with. You know, so small talks are good. They have
agree.
practical use.
I agree. Just like difference in mentalities. That's it.
Tough shit. You know, it's a useful tool. It's how you understand if it's your people or not your people. You know.
I can feel it.
All right. What drives me crazy about Americans? Well, first of all, one thing I have to say. Oh yeah, no. Let's go back to admiring. Another thing I admire about Americans is that it's an extremely like it's a very diverse nation. I'm not talking like in the sense of like inclusivity, like none of that. No, I'm talking about the fact that if you can imagine it in the U.S., it's probably there, and for any rule there will be an exception. It's the U.S. is full of very different people, and you can find just about anybody in the U.S. with just about any preference, just about any ability, just about any, I don't know, like anything really, you know, any income level, really anything. And when you try to say something about Americans in general, it's very hard to do so because they're so different. And that is also something to admire because, well, I mean, to me, that is like, this is, it means that the country can develop and progress in so many ways. All right. Again, I'm not talking about inclusivity. Forcing diversity doesn't work. Forcing anything doesn't work. So, I mean, my opinion, of course, you know, feel free to disagree and write a comment if you disagree. But yeah. And so yeah, let's go to things that drive me crazy.
What drives you crazy?
The relatively recent polarization of the nation, how much it's split over politics. There are very few people that, not very few people, but there are this minority of people who kind of manage to keep their wits about them, that don't identify immediately left or immediately right, and rather keep thinking with their own heads. They're there. They do exist. And sure, the left will have some good ideas. Some. The right will have some good ideas. Recently, like in the most recent times, the left have gone very far left, and the right pretty much stayed where they are. So that whole like like I said, the polarization and just the complete inability to communicate with a person who has opposing opinions, that pisses me off, and that to me is a very alarming sign. It is one nation, and one nation should at least be able to talk to each other. And that makes me sad. The fact that the two sides are unable to really communicate with each other, that it's gone so far. What else drives me really crazy? Some people, this is a pretty common thing, but some people will just start, like, upon meeting them, spouting random information at you.
Isn't it small talks?
It's not small talk. No, small talk is superficial. You know, you don't like overshare. when you do small talk, right? But some people overshare. Like, for example, we met some Americans here in Chiang Mai, and they're older people, and the first thing they started spouting at us is how much they hate Trump. And I'm like, I don't
Yes.
care. I really don't care about your political views, you know, from the first seconds of
You
meeting.
just bought fruit and
Yeah. Like, really, you know? And yeah, I do realize that, again, politics have gone a little too far, and the two sides should be willing to communicate, you know? But it's not what I want to know from the first second of meeting you, you know? So that definitely drives me crazy, and has been driving me crazy recently. And another thing that drives me crazy is it's a good thing and a bad thing. When a nation in general, like, no nation is without its problems, of course, and the US has plenty of problems, believe me, but when any nation gets rich enough where they don't have to cover for their very basic needs, like where you're going to eat, uh, you kind of start creating problems. And what happens is a lot of problems that are seen as problems, that are seen as issues, are not really issues that are about survival. You know, there are issues about social structure, beliefs, etc., etc. But a lot of meaning is given to things like, once your basic needs are covered, it's the Maslow pyramid. When your basic needs are covered, when your secondary needs are covered, you start to create more issues for yourself. You'll always create issues for yourself. But the inability to see those created issues as artificial is another thing that pisses me off about Americans, because having seen other nations, having traveled around other nations who do, like, where people do often struggle to meet their basic needs, they don't think about uh, things that, like, social structures as huge issues, you know? So I feel that often those issues are artificial.
Actually, this brought, I think, Russians to problems.
Yeah, Russians kind of
When
like
they
that, yeah.
stuck in their survival mode, like, for example, like a lot of people, they don't have like resources, time, etc., to think about politics, for example, and to think about what's going on in the country.
I'm not talking about that. No, I'm
I
not.
mean, this is like another side.
That's true. You're right. You're right. You're right. I
And
want
it led the nation to,
to where we are now.
yes.
That's true. That's true. That is the other side of the coin, unfortunately. One side is creating issues from zero, but the second side is the inability to look beyond survival mode. I don't know if there is a way out of that.
We needed like a golden middle.
I don't. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if there is one. You know, I mean, sure, there are like many naive solutions, like, you know, feed the poor. Like, I mean, if you just give out money to everybody and equalize the society, it's pretty quickly gonna just go back to where it was when you started.
Yeah. Yes.
Like, the rich are just gonna, because, you know, they're just gonna be rich again.
Yes. Okay.
We're open to discussion. Please feel free
Yes.
to drop a comment. And what do you admire about Americans, and what does drive you crazy about Americans in general?
And our head is out there. I need to just.
Yeah, I forgot to bring it up.
Huh?
Um,
But you can still hear me. And this is.
oh, you know what else drives me crazy is seeing America as central. Like, you don't really see. It's changing. A lot of people are going out of the country and exploring other cultures, thankfully. But in the recent past, it was like, just like in American movies, you know, like The World According to the U.S., which is just kind of like the U.S. and that's it. Like, if aliens invade, it's the U.S. If a meteorite falls, it's the U.S. Of course. You know, it's not like somewhere in the middle of the
If
ocean.
someone saves the world.
It's the U.S. Like, come on, guys.
It's cute.
8 billion people on the planet. There's
It's
like
cute.
only 330 million of y'all, you know, so
It's cute, I think.
it is. But it's naive.
This is my turn.
Do it. Pull the net. What?
It's my turn.
Okay, I'm not.
Oh, what's a habit that saved your mental health?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of talked about this already, but anyway, we'll discuss it tomorrow. What's a habit that saved your mental health? And if you have a question that you want us to discuss, feel free to drop a comment. We'll drop it into this here hat and
Don't forget to give this video a like.
and subscribe to the channel for sure.
See you.
See you tomorrow.